Hello and welcome to Misty's Misadventures. I'm Misty, and as you can see behind me, I normally teach welding. I'm creating this video to show you that you can do it no matter your gender or ability. I'm a whopping 5'3" and I weigh about 120 pounds soaking wet, just for reference. I also have had some pretty debilitating back problems with chronic pain, so if I can do it, you can too. I just gotta take a break. Alright, so there are a lot of videos out there that show you things in a perfect world, and that a guy who has been doing it for years and years, and he shows you this super duper exciting, end result. So I want to document my journey tiling my floor with the mess ups and all. Now, let me say, I'm not a professional tile person when it comes to, tiling houses. I'm a welder. Okay. I'm also not a professional YouTuber. So I try to get the best shot for you guys, and if there's something that maybe works a little bit better for you, I'm all ears. And if you've not already, please like and subscribe. When you do, you help welding education. You help welding education by allowing the public to see our videos and my students to be able to have a live lecture. I want to also say that I'm really into Habitat for Humanity, the Restore. Dude, this place is cool. So they don't pay me to say this, but it's awesome. And if you don't know what the Habitat Restore is, it's pretty much like a secondhand store for DIY materials, including tools, nuts and bolts, lighting, tile, and anything you might need for DIY product. And it also helps you help out people who are really in need by supporting Habitat for Humanity. So you can do some really cool DIY stuff and help someone out. So I'll put the link in the description so you can check it out. And that being said, I went to the Restore and found the tile that I'm using. I purchased all 20 boxes of the tile for $50. So, which if you price tile, it can really get expensive. So here we go. Let's start our project. Hey guys, well, here it is. I'm back from the tile store. Filled the whole back up with tile. Here we go. 20 boxes, but saw something cool when I was unloading this. And if we see it, it says, made in Italy. These tiles are expensive. Here it is, guys. So, this is my workroom. So, let me show you. Here we go. One wall, that's my pipe wall with all my shelves. Another wall is my tool crib. My extra tools, all my stuff. Alright, here it is. Before. Now, I get to empty it. Oh, finally. Yeah, here's the rest of the house. Alright. Well, interesting enough, I'm looking, and right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's the linoleum that I have in my kitchen. So I'm wondering, maybe it's all the way down? Okay, now I got the carpet up. All I did was pull it up, and all it has on the ends here is these little, these little tacks, and then they're nailed in, and then the carpet pad here, it looks like it's just stapled down. So, got my work cut out. Here it is, guys. Imperial. This looks great, other than the house looking like it got hit by a tornado. All I gotta do is vacuum, and we start. Okay, guys, well, I couldn't find any cheap knee pads, but I do have this pool noodle. So I think what I'm doing is I'm going to slice it down the center, like this, and make them the size that I need, and it should stick to my legs. Okay, so I have both the pool noodles here, so I'm going to try to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try the top of this. I don't know if you can see this very well. Okay, so I cut it open, so let's see if it'll work. It might work. That's what its knee pads are made out of, huh? A little tape, little something there. We get to rock. Okay, guys, so now all I have to do is cut my backer board down, and then we should be able to screw it down. mess with that one. Okay, so one of my edges is a little crooked, so I'm just taking a file and filing it down. I also found out when I did a test fit that my room isn't exactly square, so I might even have to take more off of this. Let's see. Okay, I'm back. I nicked myself on the edge of the board. I didn't realize how sharp it was. Yeah, so be careful. But I think I'm gonna just sand the top edge because it's like almost nothing that it's not stained. So I got some sandpaper here and a block so that it's nice and straight. It's a 120 grit. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I got that one to fit down, but I'm noticing a little bit of being off just a little bit here, so I need to make a little bit of an edit there because I'm not pulling out my moldings. And then underneath this panel, I also have to cut a vent. So I'm gonna measure out my vent. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I wanna go in just a tiny bit where my vent is, otherwise it might not cover the vent all the way. I'm gonna go right there. And then I'm gonna do some measuring, and that's it. Okay, so I use my little buckets as my little horses here, and I'm gonna draw 4 holes, or I should say drill 4 holes inside of my vent so that I can put the jigsaw in here and cut this out. Okay, now we have 4 holes. Now we can put the jigsaw to it. Well, that's not so straight. Ooh, this is hard work. Okay, so found out that the jigsaw isn't the best. You're not getting very straight cuts. So I have this little cool Dremel one. I think it'll do the job. You can plunge in there and then make the cut. Let's see if it works. Like butter. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the file and file out this little area that I need because I know I can't get it cut off. Okay, so what I got, I'm a little short, so I hope just a little edge over on the tile and it'll look better. Yeah, just a tiny bit short, but I think this came out really good. See, fits the curve, goes all the way to the edge. Let's see, how even are we here? We may need to go a little bit further. Oh no, look at that. Perfect. So my next ones are, this one is a little long strip right here. So this piece that I cut off the other one, I think I'm just gonna throw in there. And then we just top the outsides and close it. Yay! So now I'm just gonna cut this little strip off, but I found out that this little guy, my little Dremel with the diamond blade on it, works so much better. So, off to the races. Okay, so I got this all fitted up. Here we go. All I gotta do is the closet. Getting there, almost time. Okay, so I got all the backboard fit. So now all I get to do is screw the stuff down. I'm using 1 5/8 inch Phillips head drywall screws and ready to go. Okay, so here we got the finally the closet all screwed down. But I was having a little bit of a problem, so I don't want the heads to stick up too far. So what I decided to do was countersink. And so I'm using a masonry bit so that I can countersink these. So I think the heads will go down a little bit better. We'll find out. That's as far as I got beat. Alright, so here's what I got as of now. Yeah, they didn't get too far. So I've got so I did some countersinking, and then I did as many screws as I could, and Okay, so I learned a really big lesson, and that way people can get this, okay? I was really having a hard time driving in all of these screws, okay? And I was using drywall screws, which you can use. But here's the thing. I was having so many misdrills, I was getting frustrated. I couldn't get it started, all kinds of stuff. So I decided to do a little research. Let me tell you. These, oh, hold on. These are meant for hardy backer. So they're supposed to go in a little bit better. And then I got me a little driver. So it'll help it go flush with the backer board. So my work today is I'm gonna take off all these screws and put the new ones on. So these screws are meant for backer board, okay? And it also comes with a torque head because if you look at the top here, it's a funky little top, okay? Okay, well, I should have done this in the first place. This was super easy. And the amount of time that it took me about 20 minutes. Those are all the ones I took out. I finished the whole entire board in about 15 minutes. These are super duper. The only thing that you want to make sure is that you want to make sure, I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but you want to make sure that your screw is flush, so that way when you put your thin set over it, it doesn't leave a bump and you won't have a bump in your tile. Okay, a couple of design notes that I want to show you because some people might not know. So if you can see this right here, it's a star bit, so make sure that it fits in there correctly before you do it. And when you go, be sure to press straight down. And then I kind of look at it and make sure it's as far as I want to go. And if it's not, I want to make sure I readjust it, push it down so it's flush. But try to... If not, it'll come up a little crooked and then you have another issue. I also found out that you don't want to get too close to the edge, especially on some of the thinner pieces if you had to kind of add to an area. I have some areas where I'm getting a little bit of a cracking. We have to remember this is still a cement and it's a cement board, so it will crack on some of the closer. So don't get too close to the edge either. Here are my cool little knee pads. They work awesomely. And then I wanted to bring up this. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but when you're doing the screws, you want to make sure that your joint is as level as possible. So I noticed in like this area that I know I had a bowed piece, and I guess that's where I put it. So I needed to make sure that it was flush. Otherwise, when I put it down, it'll pop up a little bit. And we don't want that, especially for our tile, and we wanted our floor to be level. If your area has, so we want to make sure that this is flush as possible. Let me make sure that you guys can see this. We want to make sure that this is flush as possible. So I noticed that this little area was kind of bubbling up a little bit and not as flush as it could be. So I added a screw. It's okay. Screw where you need to screw and make sure that it's flush and steady. I think I'm lucky. Look at this. Woohoo, lucky, lucky. You see what they say about this one? It's a piece of metal stuck in a screw. All right, so while I'm here and at it, I finished screwing everything down right now. So we're good to go. So I'm gonna vacuum one more time because if you notice, let me get super close here. It leaves kind of like a little bit of cement that it pulls up when you screw it down. So I want to make sure that everything's as flush as possible and go back and screw down everything, and then we'll be ready for primer. Okay, I also wanted to dispel some myths. Mobile homes can't have tile. That's not true. Mobile homes can have tile as long as you put a cement backer board and you don't put the tile over what's called the marriage line, where the two halves came together. As long as you stay away from that, do what you like. Okay, so this is the primer. So we use primer, to get things ready for stuff. So I'm reading the directions, and the directions say that you can use it on just about everything. Clean, dry, structure, unpainted surfaces, concrete, cementous backer. That's what we're using. Cement board, exterior plywood. So we just want to make sure we can use it on steel. Ceramic tile, coating, so just about everything. And then it tells you the mix to use. So concrete, 2 quotes may be required. 1 to 3. I'm going to do a 1 to 3, and it's 410 square feet. So it's quite a bit. I'm just going to do 1 because really, with the cement backer, we really shouldn't have to use it, but it just helps with adhesion promotion. I'm using my trusty dollar store roller and dollar store nap, and then a old broom handle. The instructions say 1 part primer to 3 parts water. So here we go. I'm not going to do the whole thing because my room isn't quite that big, but probably about halfway. Just add the water. I got a little bit on my hands. It kind of feels like glue. So 3 parts water, so it was probably ½ an inch. So this should be about 3 or 4 inches. I think that looks about right. Here we go. I don't think we need a very thick layer. And it says if we have to do 2 coats. So I'm just kind of rubbing some of the excess off. Do very thick coats. I just want a really thin coat, and that way it'll stick better, but we don't want it to take all day to dry either. Okay, the floor has been completed. Now it says to wait between 30 and 3 hours to go from like milky to all the way clear. And I may need another a coat. So I'm not going to throw away this yet, but they also said rinse your stuff right away because it is impossible to get out. It looks pretty dry. It's a little tacky. So I'm not, oh yeah, it is. It's pretty dry here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to do a dry fit, at least on the closet, to kind of see how things work. And as I've been told, when we do tile, we go from the center of the room out, and that way you run into this with your tile on the outside instead of it disturbing the design on the inside. Well, it looks like my camera went off while I was trying to show you guys this, so I'm doing a dry fit. So I'm just putting the backers in. So these are the tile the tile spacers, and I'm spacing it. So what I was gonna do is, have the center out, but the problem is that I'd have two sides that I'd be cutting. I really just want one, since this is the closet. It's not like somebody's gonna be looking at it, critiquing it. So I'm just gonna go and slide it all to one side. And so that's what I'm working on. And then I'll see whatever I have to cut. And then I'm just making sure that everything's even, because I'm noticing these tiles aren't exactly even, so I know that I'm gonna have to at least do 2 spacers to make sure that they're gonna be where they need to be. And when you lay it down, you can lay them right in there like that, and then you can grout right on top of them. So, but I wanted to make sure everything was going to fit before I started, because I don't want my thin set to get hard before I actually figure out what I'm doing. So I'll probably do a couple of smaller batches so that it doesn't set before I'm ready. Okay, so I found a goof on my part, but I didn't realize it. If you can see, one tile is darker than the other, so I'm going to try to do the closet in one color and then use what I have of both colors to kind of mix them together.
So before we get the show on the road, please visit our sponsor, Plur Beads. The description's in the... Stay tuned for another episode of Miss D's Misadventures.